I'm an enormous defender of saturated fat. It is one of the natural fats. It comes in coconut oil and any animal source fat. And saturated fat, it actually has a gut protective effect. There was a lot of people nowadays are very rationally interested in leaky gut. And it is a real phenomenon where the kind of integrity of the gut becomes a little compromised, and you get little gaps between the gut cells that allow stuff to kind of seep through from the intestines into the body. It is known that saturated fats will seal those little gaps between the cells, whereas polyunsaturated fats actually aggravate it and open those little gaps. And those are the fats that primarily come from the industrial seed oils like soybean oil or canola oil, etc. A lot of people are becoming very aware of seed oils, and I won't say any more than that in this context. But even at the level of the gut, these high levels of polyunsaturated fats will promote the gaps between gut cells, increasing the likelihood of developing leaky gut, whereas saturated fats have the opposite effect, sealing those gaps up, allowing the gut to have a very high level of integrity and make sure the only things that get in are the things we want.
A lot of people in the morning, right? Typical breakfast is usually like kind of some sort of dessert. It's like a muffin, right? It's cereal. So I actually think that this is a nice way, if you're short on time or skill, right? If you're like, I don't know how to make eggs, or I don't know how to do poached eggs or whatever, this might be a really nice replacement, let's say, for the lack of skill or the lack of access or time, and you can get the proteins and fats that you're wanting.
Oh yeah, you stated it perfectly. Yeah, my view and my hope when we developed it was that this would be an option for people when they can't, and when they don't have time to make some good steak and eggs or cook a roast in these really deeply nutritious foods, which are the best foods. Then here's an option where they know they don't have time for lunch, so they put 2 scoops in their shaker bottle, they take it to work, and they'll put in the water and prepare it at work when they need it. That's one of the main ways I actually eat it, for example. It's just so convenient. So it's a nice, convenient way to ensure you're getting the right nutrition and not kind of knocking your body off the metabolic track that you're on. As we've mentioned fasting, and I'm such an advocate of fasting, it is such a wonderful way to just reset and almost immediately begin to improve your insulin sensitivity. As people are becoming so enthusiastic about fasting, which again, I endorse, I think it's very important for people to know that how you end a fast is more important than how long you fast. I just see this happening more and more, where people start to use fasting as almost a kind of glamorous binge purge cycle, where they fast for 36 or 48 hours, and then they get so hungry, they don't really have a plan, and they just binge on junk food. They eat themselves full to the point of bursting, and they're sick. They are ashamed. They literally feel sick. They don't sleep well that night because they're digesting and their body temperature is so high. Their heart is pounding because of all that digestion. They wake up the next day, and all that shame basically tells them, you can do better today. Do it again and cleanse yourself. And then they get into the same habit. And so my strong recommendation is how you end a fast matters more than how long you fast. So have a firm plan. Have the plan in place and recruit help to stick to it, because fasting is incredibly powerful, but it needs to be coupled with well-formulated diet and particularly well-formulated meals on the back end of the fast. And maybe that last comment would be breakfast. As you noted, it's particularly tragic in my mind that a person overnight has cleared all their food out. Their glucose and their insulin levels have come down to a nice low level. As insulin comes down, fat burning starts to ramp up. And then what do? The moment insulin has come down, we immediately spike it with these high starchy, high sugary foods. And the conventional common eating pattern nowadays is that they spike the insulin for breakfast and they do it again for the mid-morning snack and then their lunch and their afternoon snack. And a person is essentially spending every waking moment in a state of elevated insulin, ensuring that they're not burning fat and further promoting insulin resistance. So be very, very smart with breakfast, or to say it again, just be smart with how you end a fast, even if it's just your nighttime fast.